People in Sauk County are hoping melting snow won't cause more flooding issues as they still deal with millions of dollars in water damage from last summer.
And the candidates running for Madison mayor are talking about plans to build more affordable housing to help get people off the streets.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 Now this morning. It is a Monday, March 11th, and we were just lamenting, I should say, about the fact that it is still very dark outside. And that is just one of the effects this morning of daylight saving over the weekend.
The other being that we're exhausted,
Yeah, a little tougher to wake up this morning. It's still dark, but the sun comes up at 7:17, and that sunrise time will get earlier more quickly than it did after the start to winter. So that is the good news. Here's a look at our almanac for the day. Normal high is 41. We are forecast to climb into the low 30s today, so still well below where we should be. You may remember 2012, we had a high of 65. We have some more records later on this week in the 70s that were set back in 2012. So quite a warm stretch just a couple of years ago. Here's a look at our weather track, which is satellite and radar combined. Just a little bit of cloud cover showing up in far southern Wisconsin. That snow is not likely reaching the ground. Our forecast is dry today. Temperatures are in the teens and 20s this morning across southern Wisconsin. A little cooler to the north, 14 in Camp Douglas, 19 in the Dells. So here's a look at your temperatures over the next 12 hours. We're going to steadily climb today through the 20s into the low 30s later on this afternoon. One good piece of news, though, the winds will be much lighter than they were yesterday. Here's a live look at your First Alert traffic maps this morning. A few brake lights showing up on Verona Road as you approach the Beltline, but no other major slowdowns to report. No accidents either, so nothing to slow you down as you head into Madison.
Seemed like the salts at least worked on the roads because it was a mess over the weekend trying to get around anywhere.
Yeah, but the sidewalks and parking lots, keep in mind.
I almost
ended up
clear.
About 4 times walking into work this morning.
Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. We've really mastered
the penguin walk.
Yes.
The penguin walk.
The penguin walk. I like that. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
So with warmer temperatures in the forecast, melting snow has flooding on the mind. But for some Wisconsin residents, it really hasn't been off their minds since last summer's historic floods. 6 months later, the city of Reedsburg is yet again making sandbags ready for its residents if flooding hits them this winter. Orange signs still sit outside houses that will have to be ripped down after the historic flooding this town saw last summer. 14 houses in all were condemned during that never-ending rain. Joshua Kowalski runs emergency management for the city. He says the town is holding its collective breath to see whether another round of flooding is in their future.
I think we're probably have a little bit of dread and a little bit of optimism put together. Certainly every year brings the potential for flooding. Every year it seems like we get a little bit of flooding in the city, but it's not a significant amount.
City officials want their residents to sign up for Nixle. That's an emergency information service in case of flooding this next go-around. You can either go online to sign up or text your zip code to 888-777. You can find all that info under this story on the homepage of Channel3000.com. In Sauk City, firefighters will have an easier time responding to flooding incidents there with 10 new warm weather water rescue suits. The fire department's assistant chief says last summer's flooding made it clear the department couldn't use cold weather wetsuits year-round because they wore firefighters out in the heat. The department is using a little bit of grant money to buy those new suits.
The group responsible for bringing events like Ironman and the CrossFit Games to Madison is helping youth sports programs that lost time and money to last summer's flooding. The Madison Area Sports Commission is awarding more than $27,000 in grants to 9 different sports programs. That money will help with things like baseball field repairs for the West Madison Little League and St. Francis Xavier Catholic School. The Middleton Baseball and Softball Commission will also get money to repair their indoor hitting and practice facility.
We are continuing to monitor the group of Blackhawk basketball fans involved in a crash on Highway 69. That SUV was headed to Green Bay for the girls' state basketball tournament when it got into that accident Friday morning. The 54-year-old driver reportedly slowed down to miss a deer and was hit by a semi. 6 of the 9 people in that car were kids from Lafayette County. A 5-year-old who was injured wasn't wearing a seatbelt at the time of that crash. Now, according to a GoFundMe page set up for the driver and his family, one child is still in the ICU on a ventilator and others are still in the hospital. New video into the Channel 3000 Alert Center this morning. One person is in the hospital after a gas station canopy collapsed in Eau Claire this weekend. The fire department says the weight of that snow is what brought it down. One car was under the canopy when it happened. There's no word on the condition of that person this morning.
Beloit police will update reporters this morning with a look back at crime in 2018 and a look ahead to goals for 2019. The department's still searching for a murder suspect after the city's first homicide of the year last month. A 28-year-old Janesville man was fatally shot inside of a car that was left running. Also last month, Beloit officers helped federal immigration agents search a home. No arrests were made, but the Department of Homeland Security says it was connected to an investigation of a crime against the U.S. government. We will have updates from this morning's press conference down in Beloit on News 3 Now at noon and over on channel3000.com.
So it seems like there's always new housing going up here in Madison, but experts say it's not enough and it's too expensive. As January came to an end, the State Journal reports more than 800 single adults and 144 households with children were homeless in shelters or living somewhere outside. Many people with lower incomes are competing for scarce affordable housing units. Housing advocates say we need 13,000 more units to put a roof over the heads of people making less than 30% of the county median income. That may be one of the reasons affordable housing is one of the key issues in Madison's mayoral race. In 2014, Mayor Paul Soglin unveiled a $25 million initiative to create 1,000 units for low and moderate income families by 2020. The State Journal reports so far that effort has gone above and beyond, creating 1,300 units already. Soglin's challenger, Satya Rhodes-Conway, told the paper more work is still needed. Her ideas include building more housing cooperatives and buying land to create tiny house villages for the homeless. All right, 6:07 your time now. Parents, this study is probably not going to surprise you. New research shows moms and dads won't get a good night's sleep for 6 years.
Maybe 18. But to mark this National Sleep Awareness Week, we want to make sure your family is at least trying to get the recommended amount of shut-eye. Josh Breiter spoke to the experts about what we all need to be doing. Good morning, Josh.
Good morning. So we are likely still feeling the effects of daylight saving time over the weekend as we lost an hour of sleep. Dr. Sarah Kreckman, a pediatrician at SSM Health, tells me now is the time to get back on track with a regular sleep routine. She says consistency is key. We have to get in the habit of creating nighttime rituals to help our bodies slowly wind down from the day and prepare for a night of quality sleep. We also need to turn the screens off. The light and noise from TVs, smartphones, and other devices can keep our brains revved up and inhibit restful sleep. Finally, cool down. Research shows most people get better sleep when their bedroom temperature is between 65 and 72 degrees. And for all you new moms and dads out there, do the best you can in keeping up with your own sleep, especially after the birth of your child.
The good news is, outside of the first 3 to 6 months, most of that sleep disruption is fairly mild and not associated with any adverse long-term effects. I always tell new parents, it will get better, I promise. This is only temporary.
Even though it's not much, Dr. Kreckman's best advice is power through it. That means sleeping when your child is sleeping, even though you feel like you should be doing other things around the house at that time. She says most adults need at least 7 hours of sleep a night, which that would be nice if we got that here on the morning show. As far as the kids go, they need even more sleep to function as they grow, and a lot of it comes down to the choices being made before bed. Coming up, I'll have some easy ways parents can get to know or get those better sleep habits for those kids coming up just after 6:30.
Forget the kids. I need better sleep habits.
I think it's one of those things like last night. It's always hard trying to go to bed, but
So hard.
This weekend especially.
Daylight saving time does not do well for us, especially.
For anyone.
All right, Josh, go take a nap. We'll see you in a little bit.
There you go.
All right, your time right now is 6:09, and get the popcorn ready. We are exactly a month away from a massive movie event here in Madison. We'll talk with some of the programmers for the Wisconsin Film Festival coming up about how they can even decide which movies make the cut.
And although the sun's going to be up longer today, temperatures still on the chilly side for this time of March. Hattie has the details on our first alert forecast next on News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Outside this morning, still dark right now and a little chilly with temperatures in the teens and 20s. Yesterday was quite a windy day, but even with that wind, temperatures managed to climb to highs in the low to mid 30s, 36 in Madison and Janesville, 34 in Mineral Point, 33 in the Dells. Now our 10-day outlook is a little bit more encouraging than it was last week. Temperatures will actually be a little closer to normal and even a little bit above normal this week with highs in the 50s on Wednesday and Thursday. Now don't get too excited. Those 50s come at a little bit of a price. We do have rain in the forecast. And here's a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model starting at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. You can see some rain moving into the western part of the state and then spreading across all of southern Wisconsin overnight. There may be a break in the precipitation through the midday hours on Wednesday, but rain returns again late Wednesday and continues right into Thursday. Look at how far north that rain snow line is. So this is going to be rain for most of the state. Still a lot of snow on the ground and a little bit of snow on the backside of the system, but not much. We're looking at moisture from this particular system around an inch in many locations. So that combined with the melting snow may cause some problems with flooding. If you reside by a river that typically floods or a stream, keep close eye on the forecast this week. Now on the radar map, there's been a little bit of snow to our south and west. A lot of that probably not actually hitting the ground right now. Temperatures are in the 20s though here in southern Wisconsin. Teens in single digits to the north. Eau Claire has dropped to 8 degrees. La Crosse is at 15 and Superior starts at 12 this morning. A little bit warmer here in southern Wisconsin. 19 in the Dells, 22 here in Madison, 23 in Monroe. Winds are from the west, less than 10 miles an hour, but wind chills are down in the teens in most locations this morning. So you're still going to want the winter jacket. Any bit of cloud cover that we have this morning will sink to the south through the day today. Lots of sunshine this afternoon with highs in the low 30s. It will be another chilly night tonight. Some patchy fog is possible as low temperatures drop back into the teens. Here's a look at your extended forecast, though. We have high temperatures in the 40s tomorrow, then into the 50s on Wednesday and Thursday. Showers and even a few thunderstorms in the area. Now let's get a look at your traffic maps this morning with Josh Tim. Good morning, Josh.
Yeah, it's a quiet start on the roadways, including the Beltline. Really nothing to slow you down yet in either direction at this point. Other roads here in Dane County are moving well. Just some of the usual brake lights on northbound Verona Road approaching the Beltline ramps. No delays showing up downtown around campus. I would look for things to get busier over the next hour or so. And other main routes, including the interstate, they're cruising along at the usual speeds right now with no major crashes or delays. For your First Alert traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
All right, thank you, Josh, and thank you, Hattie. So the Wisconsin Film Festival is coming up. It brought in $1.7 million to the Madison area last year alone.
So impressive. This year, the festival will feature more than 150 different films. Jim Healy and Mike King are joining us this morning to talk more about the event.
Hi,
good morning.
Good morning.
You. Let's start with you, Jim. So you have been doing this for, what, 7 years now?
Yeah, that's right. About 7 or 8 festivals.
Is there some sort of algorithm or like algebra you do to figure out which films to air?
Well, no. I mean, we look for the ones that inspire us the most and move us the most and make us laugh the most. And we try and find a balance of new films and movies from throughout cinema history. So we've got almost 100-year-old silent movies playing in the festival.
Cool.
2 movies by Ernst Lubitsch for his early Hollywood films, which we're going to have with live silent piano accompaniment.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the latest films that just premiered at the Sundance Festival a couple of months ago. New documentaries, new feature films.
Just running the gamut. Mike, this has been around since 1999. I'm sure this event has just like changed and morphed, and we were talking just a second ago about how comedies are really popular this year, mostly every year.
It's true, yeah. People like to come out and see. We show films that aren't like the sort of comedies that you might see at the multiplex.
Yeah.
That can be a little quirkier or show sides of other cultures that you don't get to experience. So on opening night, April 4th, we're starting with this Icelandic comedy called Woman at War, which is very fun and would be a great time. It's at Shannon Hall, the big, huge theater.
Yeah.
It's kind of experience that you can only get at the fest.
And we were talking, I mean, right now seems like a time when people need to laugh a little bit, and just how movies kind of reflect life and how you don't really think about that until an event like this and you see attendance.
Absolutely, yeah. It's nice to get together with your neighbors and enjoy something together and sort of, you know, share one giant screen together instead of everybody just burrowing into their own.
Yeah.
Good point there. So what's new this year? A couple of things, right?
Yeah, one thing that's exciting that we have this year is 3D for the first time. At our Cinematheque, we recently installed it, and we'll be showing classic films in 3D, as well as really exciting new Chinese film in 3D that sort of pushes the form into new directions. So these are 3D films that will not play the multiplex. It's very, it's, you know, a really different experience.
It's true.
What do you guys want people to take away? I mean, obviously, people are seeking out what they want to see, but I'm sure you're hoping, too, they push their boundaries a little bit and maybe try something new.
You bet. Experience a new culture, and you can plan out your festival day and take a trip around the world. You can go to China or Iceland and a bunch of other different countries and plan out your itinerary.
Hear from the, I'm super excited about this, one of the makers of Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yes, Ralph Breaks the Internet co-director, screenwriter Phil Johnston, who's a UW alum, is going to come and present the film and take you behind the scenes of a making of a Disney film. That's part of our Big Screens Little Folks series for kids.
Yeah.
And the tickets are only $6 for that, too.
That is so cool. What a neat opportunity to be able to
Danica's
sit
super
down with
excited
that.
about
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if folks want tickets, where can they go?
Our website, which is wifilmfest.org, and also our box office at Shannon Hall at the Memorial Union.
$11 for the general public, $9 for students. And this is running from April 4th until the 11th, right?
That's right.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming in. I'm pumped. I'm going to start marking my calendar here soon.
See you there.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
definitely. Thank you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, so there have been a lot of interest in methods to reduce the harmful effects of plastic, whether it's banning straws to projects to recycle ocean waste. Well, up next, we're going to take a look at how UW-Madison researchers hope to tackle that problem.
Now, we get some sunshine today, just really not the temperatures we were hoping for, with spring starting in just only like 10 days or so. Hattie has warmer temperatures and good reasons to break out the rain boots in your first alert forecast. News 3 Now this morning is back after this.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. Temperatures are starting out a little bit colder this morning. We're about 10 degrees colder than we were this time yesterday. Here's a look at the actual numbers. 22 here in Madison, 23 in Platteville, down to 18 in the Dells, but 27 still in Janesville. Our wind chills are in the teens in most spots, with the exception of the far northern parts of our viewing area. Juneau and Adams County, wind chills are in the single digits there. Here's a look at your bus stop weather forecast on this Monday. It's back to school with a little bit of cloud cover in the morning. Sunshine through the afternoon, though, with high temperatures climbing into the lower 30s. Still need that winter gear today, but it won't be quite as windy as it was yesterday.
At least there's that. Thank you so much, Hattie. So even with record-breaking cold and piles of snow everywhere this winter, crews at UW-Madison are still on track to finish a new pier by this summer. Work on the Tong Family Marina is about halfway done. UW alumni Peter and Janet Tong donated $1 million toward that new dock along Lake Mendota, which will benefit thousands of Hofer's Sailing Club members each year. The transformation includes safety, accessibility, and sustainability upgrades. Speaking of sustainability, there's some really interesting research happening right now on the UW-Madison campus to try and cut down on plastic waste by making it with plants. Engineers are trying to replace plastic made with petroleum to plastic made from wooded plants like trees and bark instead. The secret is in a microbe that can break down a certain molecule within wood. And this is a big deal because it would make plastic that could break down naturally in the environment instead of leaching compounds into the water like petroleum does.
Madison parents, there is a chance for you to learn more about the opportunities for your student after high school later today. The school district is holding a college fair tonight where representatives from more than 100 different universities and tech colleges are going to be on hand to answer your questions about what their campuses can offer. The fair is open to both middle and high schoolers. There's also transportation available to anybody who needs help getting there. It's being held at Memorial High School from 6 until 8 tonight.
It is almost 6:25 this morning. A Pennsylvania native who had a bout as a Badger is heading south, like way south, to finish out his college football career. We'll tell you why Hornibrook is chasing Florida beaches and a starting spot on the Seminoles.
And the men's basketball team has a break to start out this week's Big Ten tournament after a close call against Ohio State yesterday. The day's top stories are next on News 3 Now this morning. We are getting a closer look at how President Trump plans to pay for a border wall, but he's likely to face congressional pushback.
And if your kids are feeling a little groggy this morning, we are right there with them. Josh Brighter has some tips on how your child's sleeping habits should be functioning after losing an hour over the weekend.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning and welcome to the final half hour of News 3 Now this morning on this Monday, March 11th. We again are all feeling that daylight saving, the pushback of an hour or leap ahead, whatever the heck it is. And part of this, I blame it on the fact that we are not seeing the sun now at this early hour.
I know. We're so excited for the rest of you who get to enjoy the sun an hour later during the day. Yeah, but we are struggling. We don't see the sun at all during the shift. Hattie's out in the dark on the patio. Hattie?
I am in the dark this morning. You're right. Sun doesn't come up until 7:17, so we once again do the whole show in the dark. But we will start to see that light come a little earlier in the morning, more quickly than it did in January and February. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV sky cam. Now, if we didn't have that little bit of cloud cover in the area, we could actually see a little bit more light on the horizon this morning. So there is some encouraging news that we can see a little light at 6:30. Here's a look at the weather track map, which is satellite and radar combined, showing you a little bit of cloud cover and even a few snowflakes trying to sneak into southwestern Wisconsin. All this activity is going to sink to the south over the next couple of hours, so nothing to get too excited about early today. We actually have a lot of sunshine in the forecast. Temperatures are in the teens and 20s this morning, so it's cold. You want the winter gear again today. Temperatures will be a little bit below normal, hitting highs in the low 30s. A warm-up, though, is in the forecast this week, with some springtime showers and maybe even a few thunderstorms later on this week. Let's get a look at those traffic maps now, though. Starting to see some brake lights and busier conditions on Stoughton Road as you approach the Beltline. A little busy as well right where Verona Road intersects the Beltline. No accidents, though, at this time, so you're still going at posted speeds as you head into Madison. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right. Thank you so much, Hattie. So Leah and I definitely aren't the only ones who overslept a little on this first Monday after daylight saving time.
Yeah, but we are taking advantage of the lost hour to check in on your kids' sleep habits, maybe your own too. Josh Brighter has some advice from a local pediatrician to get us all back on track, hopefully.
Yeah, the birds are awake outside. We, on the other hand, no guarantees. Well, good morning, ladies. During this Sleep Awareness Week, doctors say daylight saving time is the perfect time to steer the kids back to a healthy sleep schedule. So how do you know if your child is or is not getting enough sleep? Well, a local pediatrician tells me there are some easy signs to watch out for. If your child has an easy time waking up in the morning, they don't fall asleep in school, and they are mentally and physically alert, they're most likely doing just fine. But if it's a chore to get your child out of bed, they experience any daytime fatigue, lack of concentration and attention problems, and restlessness, more sleep is needed.
We also like a consistent bedtime routine, that lasts maybe 20 or 30 minutes. So that your child knows that bedtime is coming, and the hour leading up to bedtime should be kind of calm and relaxing.
Dr. Sarah Kreckman with SSM Health tells me any sort of screen like a TV or phone is not recommended, especially in the hour leading up to bedtime. A light snack low in sugar before bed is okay, and you should always avoid caffeine 4 to 6 hours before going to bed. And regular exercise is also a positive way to make for a better routine for the body. In general, Dr. Kreckman says babies need anywhere from 12 to 17 hours per day. Toddlers range from 10 to 14. School-age kids need 9 to 11 hours, and teens need at least 8, but up to 10 hours. Adults generally need at least 7 hours of sleep. And I know,
that?
Yeah, I don't even get close to that on this shift, but it's hard. And I think, Leah, you were just mentioning there during when we were listening to Dr. Kreckman, the different times for these age groups. Like there's a lot, like as you're younger, 17 hours a day. Can you imagine 17 hours? Obviously it's a baby, but it's like here I am getting like 5 to 6, maybe if I'm lucky every night,
But I think it points out just how important this is.
We
should be prioritizing this a little more. Team nap after the show.
There we go.
I'm all for that.
Can we get paid for napping? It is National Napping Day today, by the way. So.
Let's talk to our boss about that.
Well organized. All right.
There you go.
Thank you, Josh.
You bet.
So a few fun facts this morning. We have to have fun with our lack of sleep. This is the 100th time we've set our clocks forward. The first daylight saving time happened in 1918 during World War I in order to conserve coal. Both Florida and California like the extra sunshine so much, they want to keep it going all year round. They would need congressional approval to make that happen, though.
Another note for parents this morning, this one regarding what's in your kitchen. The makers of Chef Boyardee are recalling some of their chicken and rice products. Almost 3,000 pounds of those items could be misbranded and may contain undeclared allergens. The products produced and packaged on January 16th are labeled as chicken and rice, but instead contain beef ravioli.
6:33 now. On Capitol Hill today, the Trump administration will unveil part of the president's budget proposal, a month behind schedule. That is expected to include funding to complete 722 miles of a border wall at $25 million a mile. The White House is also requesting $3.6 billion to pay back funds the administration plans to redirect to the wall's construction under that national emergency declaration. President Trump's budget proposal also includes $750 billion in military spending and 5% cuts in non-defense domestic discretionary funding. Congress has the final say in setting those funding levels.
More local news this morning as the man convicted of causing a fatal crash on John Nolan Drive last summer will find out how long he will spend behind bars. 22-year-old Gavin Viam admitted to taking LSD before crashing into another car last June, killing 45-year-old Deanna Wakella. Now, he was reportedly driving 60 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone when the crash happened at the intersection of John Nolan and Blair Street. Viam pleaded no contest to a felony homicide charge in January. 2 other charges against him were dismissed. He still, however, faces up to 25 years in prison.
There are some interesting numbers out of the Madison Police Department this morning that show they've seen a decrease in reported heroin overdoses so far this year, but an increase in heroin deaths. Chief Mike Koval's blog says officers have responded to 27 reported overdoses in 2019 compared to 34 by this time last year. But so far this year, there have been 6 deaths, which is 1 more than 2018.
Drug bags are causing plumbing issues at the Rock County Jail. The Janesville Gazette reports bags that likely contained illegal drugs at some point clogged a pipe coming from the booking area of the jail last week. The responding deputy says all of those bags were tied at the top and had been ripped open. Authorities weren't able to figure out who the bags belonged to. Suspects are searched when they come into the jail, but officials told the paper it can be difficult to find drugs hidden in places like undergarments because finding them could violate someone's privacy.
All right, some good news for Badgers fans this morning. The men's basketball team will have a bye in the first 2 rounds of this week's Big Ten tournament. If there's bad news, it's that it wasn't easy getting there. The Badgers let a 23-point second-half lead slip away yesterday on the road against Ohio State, getting outscored 27-5 in the last 7 minutes of the game and sending them into overtime. Wisconsin was able to pull out the win, 73-67, led by Khalil Iverson's 22 points and 14 rebounds. The Badgers' first game in the Big Ten tournament will be on Friday.
Staying in the sports world, we now know where the former Badger quarterback, Alex Hornibrook, will be playing next fall. He announced on Instagram that he will finish his remaining year of eligibility at Florida State. Hornibrook was 26-6 as the Badgers' starting quarterback over the past 3 years. He missed the last few games of last season due to concussion concerns. Now, Hornibrook will be eligible to play right away in Tallahassee. The Seminoles only have 1 quarterback on scholarship on their roster right now.
All right, still ahead, the owners of Madison's first professional soccer team are asking the city's Landmark Commission about some high-end changes to Breese-Stevens Field. We'll explain that story coming up in the morning sprint.
And Harley-Davidson is trying to appeal to your child's need for speed. Sorry, parents, in advance. We'll take a look at their new electronic bikes when News 3 Now this morning continues. All right, so Larry's making us very jealous this morning. This is the sunrise over the Atlantic.
Ooh.
And I thought, maybe it's Maryland and it's kind of cold there or whatever. No. This is down in Florida. Nice, sunny, warm Florida.
Larry, I am a Wisco girl born and bred, but
Looking
got me
good
second
right now.
guessing my loyalties. Yeah, that is pretty attractive. Thanks for sharing. What does your morning look like? Take a picture, post it on our Facebook page or on Twitter, and use the hashtag MyNews3Morning so Danica and I can be a little jealous and share our favorites right here on the program.
For any Rock County parents looking to expose their kids to classical music, there's an opportunity for you to take them to see the Beloit Janesville Symphony Orchestra for free. The Janesville Gazette reports an anonymous donor is sponsoring the first 50 adults who bring a group of 4 kids to the upcoming concert at the Janesville Performing Arts Center. Children have to be 15 years old or younger. The concert spotlights fantasy favorites for the young and young at heart. The concert is March 21st. You can find out more information at janesvillepac.org.
Harley-Davidson also trying to attract a younger audience. The motorcycle giant just bought a company that produces 2-wheel electric bikes for kids. They max out at roughly 10 miles per hour and cost between $650 and $700. Harley-Davidson says they're hoping to offset a drop in old-fashioned bikes. All right, so we told you earlier about a 7-year-old girl from Heartland who's asking for pictures of dogs to help her battle brain cancer.
Yeah, now she's not just getting photo deliveries, she's getting actual visits from furry friends. Emma Merton's parents posted on Facebook that more than 35 different departments stopped by their house with their canine partners over the weekend. She says there were no words but pure joy to describe the visit. Emma is all smiles in the pictures, petting her friends. If you would like to send a picture of your dog to help cheer her up, the family is now asking that you post it to the Facebook page, Team Emma. It's really just because of the overwhelming number of pieces of mail that they have received. They've also gotten a lot of emails from people who want to share their doggy love with Emma.
I love this story. I need to adopt a dog and send a picture up there.
Bring it over. Yeah. I know a lot of doggos that sent a letter over there.
I know,
so
Danica took part in this.
Yeah, it's what a sweet little girl.
Heartwarming.
We're still hoping her all the best.
Yes, exactly what we need on this Monday morning.
Yeah.
Because 9 days, you guys. 9 days until spring. We can do this?
We can do it.
We can do
it. Yes. Before thunderstorms this week, we will be right around freezing with plenty of sunshine. I'm cool with it. Leah's cool with it. Jake is cool with it. We'll see if Patty is cool with it right after the break, right here on News 3 Now this morning.
Now that daylight saving time has arrived, well, spring is right around the corner. 9 days, so we're officially in the single digits on that countdown to spring. I think everyone's counting at this point. Here's a look at some of the temperature milestones that we reach here in Madison. If you're wondering, the first 50-degree day typically happens in late February. Now, officially this year, we hit 50 in early January, so we're already on the books with our first 50-degree day, but we haven't even been close since then. We typically see our first 60-degree day before the end of March, and into the first part of April, we're topping right around 70 for the first time. And our first 80-degree day happens in that first week of May. So if you're wondering how the warm-up is expected to occur here in southern Wisconsin, that's how it's laid out. Now, whether or not this year will be normal, that remains to be seen. GFS Future Track forecast model is bringing some warmer temperatures and some rain into the area late Tuesday already, and push of moisture into the area. That may see a little bit of a break through the early morning hours on Wednesday, but then rain returns later Wednesday and then continues through Thursday. Look at how far north that rain snow line is. So it's going to be rain for most of the state, and some of those rain totals may be on the heavy side as well. Here's a look at forecast precipitation. Again, most of this in the liquid form across Wisconsin by Friday. We're looking at close to an inch in many spots. Now combine that moisture with the snow melt that will happen under that rain, and we could see some issues with flooding. Still looking at parts of northern Wisconsin where snowpack is better than a foot, especially around the Eau Claire area, and again further upstream across Minnesota. Much of that state buried under at least a foot of snow right now. Now there is some snow showing up on the radar map. Have not been able to see any ground truth from any of that snow just yet. So here in southern Wisconsin, our forecast is actually dry. These snow showers will continue to sink to the south through the day today. A little bit of cloud cover in southern Wisconsin, keeping our temperatures in the 20s this morning. We're in the teens, though, north of Dane County. The Dells checking in with 18. It's 14 at Camp Douglas. Prairie du Chien, though, is at 22 degrees. Here's a look at your Future Track forecast model through the day. It does take that cloud cover to the south, so any bit of clouds that we have this morning will clear out. We're looking at mostly sunny skies this afternoon. Lighter winds than yesterday with highs in the low 30s. Still a little bit below normal for this time of the year, but with lighter winds and the sunshine, should actually feel pretty nice. It'll be chilly again tonight with temperatures dropping back into the teens by tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. Find that umbrella, you'll need it. Starting Tuesday, rain is in the forecast through Thursday. May see that rain mix with some snow Thursday night into Friday. Minimal snow accumulations. Most of it will be in the form of rain with this next system. Highs will be in the 50s as well. Stella in Madison says, you say 50s. 50s? Look at those ears all perked up there. 30 degrees though for the walk today, so still a little chilly when you're walking the pooch.
Stella's looking a little white. I have a feeling she's going to be a little muddy by the time Wednesday rolls around.
Yeah, I think so. Muddy paws.
Cutie. All right. Thank you, Hattie.
You're welcome.
Morning Sprints coming up next right here on News 3 Now this morning. Stay with us. 6:52, time for the morning sprint. Josh Ryder is sharing some tips on regulating everyone's sleep schedule after daylight saving time switch.
And Hattie says we're only in the low 30s today, but 50s are in sight, folks. First, though, with warmer temperatures in the forecast, melting snow has flooding on the mind. For some Wisconsin residents, though, it really hasn't been off their minds since last summer's historic floods. 6 months later, the city of Reedsburg is yet again making sandbags ready for its residents if flooding hits them this winter. City officials want their residents to also sign up for an emergency information service called Nixle. You can find out how to do that over on channel3000.com.
The group responsible for bringing events like Ironman and the CrossFit Games to Madison is helping youth sports programs that lost time and money to last summer's flooding. The Madison Area Sports Commission is awarding more than $27,000 to 9 different sports programs. That money will help with things like repairs at baseball fields and indoor batting facilities in the area.
And we're starting with a little bit of cloud cover in the Madison area this morning. Take a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Some light finally showing up on the horizon, though. Temperatures are a little cool in the teens and 20s early today. This little bit of cloud cover will sink to the south, snow not hitting the ground. No snow in our forecast for today. So here's a look at your temperatures. We're going to climb from the teens and low 20s back into the low 30s this afternoon.
Thank you, Hattie. Overseas this morning, Ethiopian news sources say the black box from the Boeing 737 plane crash yesterday has been located. Airline officials say it is partially damaged, so it's unclear if it will be able to help investigators figure out the cause of that crash. None of the 157 people on board survived, including 8 Americans. This is the second time in the last 5 months that a new model of that plane went down. This morning, China and Indonesia are grounding all of their 737 MAX 8 planes, and Boeing is postponing the launch of a new model.
President Trump's expected to announce part of his latest budget proposal later today, which is expected to include more than $8 billion to finish a wall at the U.S.-Mexico border. It's also expected to ask for $750 billion in military spending. Congress has the final say in setting funding levels, and Democrats are already protesting the plan.
Consistency is key. Create nighttime rituals to help your body slowly wind down from the day and prepare for a night of quality sleep. Also, turn the screens off. The light and noise from TVs, smartphones, and other devices can help keep our brains revved up. Finally, cool down. Research shows most people get better sleep when their bedroom temperature is between 65 and 72 degrees. Remember, school-age kids should be getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep per night, while adults need at least 7.
Thank you, Josh. Beloit Police will update reporters this morning with a look back at crime in 2018 and ahead to goals for 2019. The department is still searching for a murder suspect after the city's first homicide of the year last month. Also last month, Beloit officers helped federal immigration agents search a home. No arrests were made in that case, but the Department of Homeland Security says it was connected to an investigation of a crime against the U.S. government. We'll have updates from that press conference over on channel3000.com.
Experts say while there's a lot of new housing going up around Madison, it's not enough and it's too expensive. The State Journal reports housing advocates, along with the city and county officials, say we need 13,000 additional units for those making less than 30% of the median income here in Dane County. Current Mayor Paul Soglin and his challenger in the spring election, Satya Rhodes Conway, are both making affordable housing a central focus of their campaigns.
It just continues to pay dividends as it goes to the kids and the parents and everyone else for that consistency of care.
The YMCA of Dane County says it's going to pay its after-school employees up to $4 more an hour to try and offset a worker shortage. Child care directors are having a tough job keeping workers around with a turnover rate as high as 35%. The Y cares for more than 1,100 kids in its after-school programming across Dane County.
UW-Madison is about halfway through work on a new pier along Lake Mendota, even with this winter's rough weather. Thousands of Hoofers Sailing Club members will be able to use the Tong Family Marina each year. That transformation includes safety, accessibility, and sustainability upgrades. The project's on track to be finished by this summer.
Now that we know what the team's uniforms are going to look like, the owners of Forward Madison FC are planning ahead to give fans a more high-end experience. They're asking the city's Landmark Commission if they can put up temporary buildings that can be booked as suites during the soccer season. The team still has to get permission to do that since Breeze-Stevens is a historical site. The suites would be up from spring through early fall.
6:57 right now. Let's turn it over to Josh Tim with one more check on traffic. Hey, Josh.
Yeah, good morning. Still moving all right on the Beltline. No major delays showing up east or westbound, although things are starting to pick up now. Inbound John Olin tapping the brakes near the Olin Avenue intersection. That's going to add a minute moving into the downtown area. And I-90 eastbound starting to pick up approaching the Beltline interchange, but other main routes, they're still cruising along at the usual speeds with no major crashes or delays. For your First Alert Traffic, I'm Josh Tim.
Thank you, Josh.
A little bit of cloud cover here in Madison, but we will see some sunshine for the afternoon. Your day planner temperatures take you from right around 20 this morning back to highs in the low 30s this afternoon. It is going to warm up, though. That extended forecast has 50s. Some showers as well.
Enjoy that sun today, folks. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Have a good one.